We all saw the racism of MAGA and Trump on full display at Madison Square Gardens. Yet, some African Americans, some Puerto Ricans, and others still plan to vote for Trump. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. I am attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers. Each and every week, we bring you a legal analysis of some trending story regarding politics, policies, personalities, or pop culture to empower you with the information you need to defy this unjust legal system and to nullify systemic racism. If that interests you, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and click the bell so you'll get notified every time we upload one of these powerful videos. Please go over to Amazon.com, grab a copy of my book, Education and Justice. If you have an African-American son in the public school system, I tell you exactly how they harm African-American boys in public school and what you can do to protect your son. So go over there and get your copy of my book now. All right, so yes, we saw the madness at Madison Square Garden during the Trump rally, just on full display, racism, misogynism, just crazy stuff, xenophobic attitude, just completely, totally Trump. I mean, everybody was parroting Trump. That's who he is. That's his core. That is who he is as an individual, as a person, right? So that's what you're voting for. If you end up voting for this man, that's what you're saying, okay, I'm good with our country being run by this type of person. That's what you're saying. And as an African-American, as a Puerto Rican, a Latino, Hispanic person, anyone who is deemed or considered a minority in this country, for you to vote for and support this, I tell you, it's mind-boggling. It is mind-boggling. You have the right to vote for whoever you want to vote for. But if you are a black person, and I'm mentioning Puerto Rican because Puerto Ricans were specifically mentioned and insulted, how can you? What is it about Trump that would cause you to pull the lever for him when he insults you and the people around him insults you to your face? All right, so what am I talking about? I'm obviously talking about the comedian who said a bunch of racist stuff about blacks and Latinos. Let's go listen to what he said.
It's absolutely wild to see. And in Texas, stuff is really, really crazy. We're right there by a wide open border. Where are my proud Latinos at tonight? You guys see what I mean? It's wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this. It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. My mom's a boomer in the state of Ohio, and there's no convincing her of anything. She's eating the cats. She's eating the dogs. They're eating the pets up there. What's going on? Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. All right. Heck yeah. It's a cool black guy with a thing on his head. What the hell is that? A lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh, my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome. You guys are...
All right. There it is. Several jokes. And the butt of all of those jokes were African Americans or Latinos. That is exactly who Trump is. Now he tries to play nice to get votes. But that's who that man is. We have a 40, 50-year history of him discriminating against blacks, insulting blacks, denigrating blacks. It is on full display all the time. And that's the thing. The one thing I will credit him for is he just says it. He doesn't hide it. He just says it. And to some blacks, that endears them to him. Well, I like the fact that he just says what's on his mind. I just like that fact. Yeah, but he's insulting you. He's telling you he despises you. Why support a man? Why give a man, put it this way, why give a man a weapon, the presidency, to harm you when he's already shown you what he thinks about you? I mean, think about this. Think about this. Just think about this. And for me, pointing out to you that this is what's going on, and you seem to be in blindness about this, don't get mad with me. I mean, don't insult me. I'm just saying what you obviously don't see. You obviously don't see it. So somebody needs to share it with you, right? Someone needs to say it. And it's not just me, Obama. When Obama several weeks ago said, you're not certainly going to vote, I just hope you don't intend to vote for somebody who has denigrated you over the years. Black men wanted to beat him up. They jumped all on him. Don't talk down to us. Who do you think you are? Well, I'll tell you who he is. He is the first black president. All right? He is a constitutional scholar. Okay? He was a sitting United States senator. All right? He was the first African-American law review editor at one of the top law schools in the country, Harvard University. He is happily married to an African-American woman with 2 grown children. He is in his 60s. All right? He knows some things. He has dealt with this stuff. He didn't get where he is being an idiot. He is a smart guy who's trying to give you some wisdom. Receive it. Show your wisdom by receiving it. I believe it's Proverbs chapter 13, verse 1 says, the wise son will listen to the advice of others, the wisdom of others. Show your wisdom by listening to somebody like Obama and or me and or older people in your life who, again, who's been around the corner a few times, right? Who's seen some things, who have experienced some things, right? Don't dismiss us as being old and so forth. Listen, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I am an independent voter, and I am also a committed Christ follower. So I don't subscribe to either of these political parties. But as an attorney, as a civil rights attorney, I do know which party is anti-black and which one is not. Now, let me tell you why that's so important to me. Let me tell you why. So I have 2 biological children and 1 through love or law. They're all in their 30s. I am concerned about their well-being. And I know Trump getting in office, again, he did harm that you probably don't even know about. I do, because I'm a civil rights attorney. I know the laws and the regulations and the rules that Trump changed and or tried to change to harm African-American people. And I've talked about a lot of that. Go to my Project 2025 videos and watch other videos on my channel. I am concerned about my country that is embracing fascism, that is already steeped with systemic racism, a country that has a wealth gap that listen, African Americans own less than 5% of this nation's wealth after being here 400 years and laying the economic foundation for this country. We still own less than 5% of this nation's wealth. I mean, low educated white people make a whole lot more money than many educated black people. Believe it or not. Do you know the average Trump male voter, the average, is a non-college educated person? And I'm talking about white males. And yet their average income is about $150,000 a year. And so this fight, this election is all about protecting that. Trump wants to get back in office to protect that, a white male hegemony. That's what this is about. This is not about you, black man. Trump is not for you. Trump is anti-black. We got the records. We have the history. And that racism was on full display at Madison Square Gardens at this Trump rally. This comedian was one of many who stood up and said crazy stuff. Fascist, racist, xenophobic, misogynist junk. Many, many of them. Dr. Phil, Tucker Carlson. Go look at my Tucker Carlson video I did a few days ago. That is insanity. What he said at a Turning Point rally, Trump rally. I mean, they're not hiding it anymore because they're trying to get those voters to the polls. So they don't even care anymore about whether blacks come to the polls. They're not offering blacks. And I hear a lot of young black men saying, well, we want the tangibles. Trump ain't promised you no tangible. Like I said in a previous video, the tangible he has promised you is stop and frisk. Now that's what you're about to get. And police officers with full immunity, full prosecutorial immunity. They already have qualified immunity. So if they kill one of us and we sue them, chances are that case is going to get thrown out of court. I sue police officers, my firm. So I know what I'm talking about. We're fighting now to hold police officers accountable. Right now, as I speak, because of qualified immunity, which would be abolished if the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act was passed. Okay? But Trump goes further. He wants to give them immunity from prosecution in criminal court. So basically, he wants to have a nationwide police force under his thumb, accountable to no one. Just like he will be unaccountable because of the Supreme Court case this summer that gave him absolute immunity. Do you see here? I'm trying to get you to understand that, yes, you got issues with the Democratic Party. So do I. That's why I'm not a Democrat. But in this moment, in this slice of history, at this time, our best choice are the Democrats. And then we need to work the Democrats to get the things that we believe we should have. I've said that over and over and over again. When our channel endorsed Kamala Harris, I said we endorse Kamala Harris enthusiastically, but she must develop an agenda for African American men. We said that months ago. Months ago, remember? Go watch my videos. So yes, we have a right to have some frustrations. We want more progress. Now, we know the Democratic Party, as I've told you many times, we wouldn't be able to vote if it wasn't for the Democratic Party. The Voting Rights Act, who do you think passed that? We wouldn't be able to work the jobs we work or live in the neighborhoods we want to live in, but for the Democratic Party because of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Fair Housing Act of 1968. I wouldn't be a college graduate today had it not been for Lyndon Baines Johnson, who passed the Higher Education Act. so many other things that this party has done in the last 70, 80 years. Now, I'm not talking about doing slavery, because the Democratic Party doing slavery was definitely the party of slavery. And the Republican Party, they were called the Radical Republicans, was the party that fought to abolish slavery. But something happened in the 50s and 60s and 70s. It's called the Southern Strategy, when a lot of the Dixiecrats in the Democratic Party went over into the GOP. And a lot of the progressives and African Americans who were in the Republican Party came over to the Democratic Party. And that shifted things politically. So when you hear these people saying what I call pro-black imposters, that the Democrats have done nothing for black people, they are misleading you. That's disinformation. A simple Google research shows that. Many of you have voted already. The only reason you're able to do so is because not the 15th Amendment, which gave us the right to vote, but because of the Voting Rights Act, which stopped the hindrances to our voting, such as poll taxes, literacy tests, grandfather clauses, and so on. I looked at a precious African-American woman on TikTok recently who said she was older, I think probably in her 80s maybe. And she said back in 1960, when she cast a vote, she had to pay $2. African Americans had to pay $2. That's the poll tax. That's real, you all. I'm not making that up. That happened. Okay, that literally happened. She had to pay $2, and all black people had to pay $2 to vote. White people paid nothing.
Poll tax certificate from 1960. This is when we had to pay poll tax. You had to choose between feeding your family voting. You only made $2 a week because you didn't have jobs that we have today. Okay. So a lot of us didn't vote because that was voter suppression. We decided to feed our family. What do? Vote or feed your family.
And what year was this, ma'am?
1960.
And this is yours?
This is my original.
Wow.
I have the original.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank
you.
We're fighting now. The fight is to prevent them from taking us back to those days. We don't want to go back to that. They're saying we want to make America great again, but being great in their mind is you and I once again having voter suppression laws all in our faces. May not be a $2 poll tax, but it's some other way they're trying to keep us from voting because they know voting matters. Listen, don't be dismissive of the wisdom, the knowledge, the experience that us older generation bring to the table, especially when we come to the table with knowledge of this country's laws or this country's political science information or some other expertise. Don't be a mocker. Don't be a scorner. Don't be one of these people who dismiss knowledge and information. You know, one of the things I have always been is someone who will listen to the elders. Always. Always. I know I'm from the country. Maybe that's what it is. I'm a country boy. I'm from the South. And so we're taught to honor and respect our elders because they got wisdom. They got knowledge and understanding. Listen, anything that you have done and become in your life, you did so because you took the time to sit down and listen to people who have more experience, more knowledge, more information than you on that, starting with your parents. And then right on through life. That's a process of life. So don't be dismissive. Dismissiveness, as I point out in my video on disinformation, is the very first step of being manipulated with disinformation. Don't be that person. Because disinformation is one of the, if not the greatest threat that we're facing right now. It's misleading a whole lot of younger African American people to support this kind of junk. All right? I am attorney Augustus Corbett, one half of the Defiant Lawyers. This is the information, the analysis, the empowerment that we bring you on a regular basis. Thank you for watching this video. Until the next time, peace.